What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 5 of the Stuart Oden podcast. Wow, I can't believe we've made it 5 episodes in. Let's celebrate with a sip of water. Delicious. So in today's little podcast thing, today's episode, I guess is what we call it, we are going to be talking a little bit about some politics, a little bit about Andrew Tate, and then in my typical style, I might veer off and talk about some other things as well. But something semi-interesting happened, was it yesterday, 2 days ago, where Joe Biden gave a speech. Let me bring this up really quick. Basically, he gave a speech and he said that, what was it? MAGA Americans are a threat to democracy, or they're like a terrorist threat or something like that. And then to make it even worse, right? First of all, that's ridiculous. That's like, you're calling the most traditionally patriotic people in the country a threat to democracy, which is not true. I mean, I was trying to think for a second, like, okay, is there some way that that's actually true? But I can't like wordplay that one. Not only is it not true, but you want to talk about like pissing people off who are already pissed off at you and further alienating any sort of like people who are sitting on the fence, as if it's possible to continue to sit on the fence after what we've seen for the past couple of years. But I digress. So he gave this speech. Let me see if I can find something here about what he said. Here we go. Dark Brandon. You guys know about this Dark Brandon meme where it's like, so you have the whole dark MAGA, which is like Trump not playing fair anymore. It's like there's the whole MAGA, Make America Great Again. And then there's the dark MAGA, which is like Make America Great Again. But this time we're coming back and we're not going to fight fair and we're going to do anything that it takes to win. And like the like underlying premise is like, and we're going to kill our enemies this time. Well, I mean, they don't actually say that, but like that's kind of the vibe that you get. So I guess to counter that, there's the Dark Brandon, and they don't even call it Dark Biden. They call it Brandon from the whole like "Let's go Brandon" thing. It's just hilarious in so many ways. So yeah, it's just crazy. Like, bro, what are you thinking? What, like, legitimately, like, what are you actually thinking that you're going to go and you're going to say something like that about not only just half of America? Like, at this point, can we even say it's half of America? It's most of America, except the people that live in the major cities, right? Like, if you live in a major city, chances are you're probably progressive. But if you don't live in a major city, and how many major cities really are there in the United States? Like 100, 200? Everybody else that lives in every other town or city pretty much like doesn't like this gentleman here. So anyway, it's not the best look for Mr. Biden. And then they had this whole like, I don't know, was it CNN that changed the background to be this blood red, creepy Big Brother, dark, like big, I don't know, shit, I just hit my fucking computer. I don't know. It's like, why would you, he's already saying, I think he also said, didn't he say that like people who are the MAGA Republicans are a terrorist threat to democracy and need to be arrested or something like that? I don't know if he went quite that far, but then on top of which is insane. First of all, that's insane. And then second of all, whoever was in charge of the speech decided to make the set like really creepy and have it look like this like communist dictator. Like, are they playing? I wonder how they figured that out at CNN. Like, who came up with this? Like, who's pulling the strings over there, really? Because we know it wasn't Joe. We know he wasn't like, okay, guys, here's what we're going to do. First, I'm going to call all the Make America Great Again people. I'm going to call half the country a terrorist threat. And then while I do that, what I want you to do is I want you to turn the background of the stage blood red to have it look like communist China and really like creep people out and make them think we're going to like come to their house and pull them out of their houses and take them to concentration camps. Because that's kind of the vibe that he was giving a little bit. But yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what he was thinking there. Good old Joe. What are you thinking, bro? Is my stream not working? It says it's not working. Anyway, let's move on a little bit. So yeah, apparently Joe Rogan. Let's see, what did Joe Rogan say about this whole thing? Didn't he say something like Joe Rogan, Joe Biden? I think I saw something that said like, oh, here we go. Is Joe Rogan the biggest threat to Trump's ambitions? No. But that was pretty interesting about Zuckerberg, how he said that how Facebook like suppressed the Hunter Biden laptop story. I think it was, who was it? The FBI came to him and was like, you have to hide this story. You're not allowed to like talk about this. And you have to like remove posts that mention it, when it was, I think it was 2 months before the election. That's some messed up shit. I mean, if you think that the FBI is impartial, I really shouldn't be talking about this on my stream. Is that why my stream is having technical difficulties? I wouldn't be surprised. If you think that the FBI, like, first of all, the FBI is long gone from the days of the 70s where like they were chasing terrorists and drug dealers and actual like bad guys. Now it seems like the FBI has just turned into another federal like goon squad, like the Gestapo. What are the other ones? I don't know, like the Federales for the Mexican government, the Revolutionary Guard. It's literally like the federal goon squad. You know, that's what the FBI is kind of, it seems like they're doing these days. They just what did they do? They invaded. They went to arrest, or to like, they did the raid on Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence to go find some documents. I mean, regardless of what you think of Trump, right? You could think he's like the biggest, asshole in the world, but you got to admit the dude is squeaky clean. Squeaky clean. How many years did they try to bring him down with the Russia thing, with his taxes, with, sexual harassment cases? Nothing stuck. Literally not a single thing stuck. The only thing that they really have on Trump is that he's mean. That's it. That's literally all they have on him. They tried to do the racism thing, like literally nothing stuck to this guy. Because I think the dude is just, he thinks in his mind, he's like, I gotta be squeaky clean at all times. If I'm squeaky clean, I can say crazy shit on TV and nobody can do anything to me, because if they dig, they're not going to find anything. That's my theory about Donald. And it seems to be true. Like, what, you actually think that this guy who managed to go through the presidency, completely like deflecting any sort of FBI probe and impeachment and who knows, like wiretaps, like who knows what else they were doing behind the scenes that we don't know about. You think that afterwards he's just going to have like classified documents in his, fucking game room in his house, just chilling there? Like, come on. It's ridiculous. It's like, what is the establishment thinking? I don't know. It's wild, dude. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like you kind of hope that the people in charge, even if they're evil, you just kind of hope that, okay, like they're evil, but let's just hope they're smart. You know what I mean? Like they're evil, but hopefully like they know how to keep the system going without having shit completely come crashing down. But apparently that does not seem to be the case in the case of the United States. So, yeah, I don't really know how that's going to work out. Yeah, I don't know. I decided to, so basically slight little, tangent from the whole like politics thing. I've been recording these podcasts, right? And the goal is to record like 2 hours ish of me talking, or I should try a little bit harder to bring a guest on, because I do feel that the content is a little bit better and a little bit more interesting when I have somebody else on, because we can like riff off each other and stuff like that. It's just a matter of coordinating, my schedule is unpredictable, and then I got to coordinate with these other people, and sometimes they're out of the country, and it's like, how are you going to do that? So anyway, I've been doing it myself, and I've been like cutting up the more interesting parts, like where I managed to say something reasonably intelligent over the course of like 20 seconds, cutting those up and putting them into Reels, TikToks, and YouTube Shorts. And pretty interesting, the results. I just started doing this last night. TikTok, they have this thing where they kind of like, if it's a new account, they throttle your first 5 videos and they have a human being actually review them. This is the word on the street. I don't think this is official TikTok like language. But if you're a new account, they take your first 5 videos and they'll like have an actual human being watch them before they start serving them to lots of people. That's what I've heard. That's at least my excuse for why some of them are still stuck at 0. Because it doesn't make sense that they would be stuck at 0. Like, as bad as they might be thought to be by, let's say, the majority of people in the world, it doesn't make sense that nobody would have watched them. Like, at least one person had to have watched them, or 5 people or something. So that's TikTok. That's I feel like that is kind of like a little bit slower to get started, but once you get momentum, it seems like it'd be pretty good. And I'm posting the same stuff on all the platforms too. And then there's Reels. So like the Reels are, I would say, getting like 300-400 views each, or plays as they call them on Instagram. So anyway, and the YouTube Shorts are killing it. Actually, I have one that got like 7,000 views in today, and another one that's also crushing it. Let's see what else is going on in politics other than Joe Biden saying that. Oh, here's one about Andrew Tate. Let's talk about Andrew Tate a little bit. Oops, that's just a picture. Here's a good one. Let's see. With the rise in awareness of red pill stuff, Andrew Tate, and the increase in men's self-development, which basically teaches men to share toxic traits in women and be highly selective, how much of an impact will this genuinely have on society? Will we slowly start to see more intact families, roasties dying alone, positive male role models making their way into culture, boys pushing back against feminist teachers? That's kind of an interesting question. I mean, when I was growing up, this whole like red pill stuff was not, it like never occurred to us as men that a woman who was married would cheat. Like, and if it did happen, it was this like, oh my God, like this earth shattering event that never happened, and she would be ostracized, and it would be this complete breach of trust, which is true. I mean, it's not like those things are untrue now, but I feel like your average man, at least let's say your average guy under 35 years old, who is into internet culture and has been exposed to the whole like red pill, blue pill, black pill thing, he has a much darker view of women, where he almost expects any woman that he is with to cheat on him at some point. In fact, there's a famous or a common saying in the red pill community where it says, she's not yours, it's just your turn. Right now, like, not to get into the whole, I know the whole like red pill thing has like a really bad reputation, so I don't want to get too into that lest I be branded as one of those guys. But to be fair, they do make a lot of valid points. So, yeah, anyway, I think that's a fair assumption, right? Like, so the thing with red pill, like what is TRP? What is the red pill? Well, it's defined as a praxeology, right? Now, this is like a very new word for me, at least that I'd never heard. But basically what it means is that it's a series of concepts that when you apply these concepts, they give a certain result. So it's not a philosophy. It's not a theory. It's not, a religion or anything like that. It's literally just like, if you believe this to be true and you act accordingly, you will get a certain result. And does it work? I don't know. I've noticed, I don't know. I mean, I guess it does, but it kind of ruins your view of women a little bit. Like, sorry, ladies, no offense, but like, At least, and you know, it's not like I hate women or anything like that, but once you kind of get introduced to the red pill stuff, you see them much differently. Like marriage takes on a completely different view for you, where you're like, well, do I really want to get married? Like, what if I'm in a situation one day where, like, you know, whatever, and this is just like crazy thinking going on, where I'm like with my wife and there's like some alpha male there and like he's more alpha than me and like he wants to fuck my wife and then he fucks her and then she gets pregnant and I have to raise his kid, right? It's like crazy stuff like that, which sounds crazy when you think about it. But honestly, like I wouldn't be surprised if that shit happens. All right, let's see here. So yeah, I guess what's the question is like, do we really think like what would happen to society if the whole like red pill line of thinking was pushed more mainstream? Which I think is one of the reasons why Andrew Tate got so much negative attention from, you know, mainstream media or social media, which is arguably like run by the establishment. Why is what he says so bad for the narrative? Well, in my opinion, I think it's because in order for men to agree to participate in society, we have to believe that at the end of the tunnel, there's a woman waiting for us somewhere and that our hard work will be rewarded by the attention and affection of a woman. Because, I mean, you know, not like men are all sex crazed, you know, whatever, freaks or anything like that. But a lot of the reason why we do what we do is not necessarily to get laid, but it's to get that like, I don't know. I was going to say the love and affection of a woman. Like, let's be honest. Okay. A lot of stuff that guys do, like why do most guys work out? To get girls. Why do most guys get that good job? To get girls. Why do most guys who spend a lot of time and money to get that good degree do that? Is it because they love studying? No, it's because they believe that that eventually is going to lead to a good job, which is going to lead to money, which is going to lead to a good girl, I would think, not just any girl, who agrees to be part of their life and raise a family with them, but most importantly, will be around for them when they need a little bit of consolation at the end of the day. Because regardless of what you hear about how men have it so much easier, I promise you, ladies, like you would not want to be a man. You would not enjoy being a man at all. You would like beg for your female privileges back in a second. This shit is hard. It's not easy. You can't make money taking pictures of your butthole as a man. I mean, maybe you could. I haven't tested that theory, to be fair. I don't think I'll test it. It'd be an interesting test though. Yeah, so I think if the whole like red pill thing was accepted to be true by most of the population, I don't know if we would have societal collapse, because like, let's be honest, a lot of guys out there already have kind of given up on women. Most guys don't make any effort at all to talk to girls in the real world. I mean, okay, number one, they don't make any effort to talk to girls. Number two, they're not casually interacting with them on a regular basis either. Most guys, they don't have a job that puts them around women. They don't like have any female friends, because most people don't have any friends. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think most people have like a lot of friends. And the friends that you do have through college, you lose those because people move away, people get married. And any friends that you do have, that you do end up making, are usually made through work, unless you like are one of these rare individuals that go out and meet people, you know, regularly and integrate those people into your life, which is the exception, I would say. So most guys are already not around women on a regular basis anyway. So like, would it really make that big of a difference if these guys who, you know, let's say they believe the whole like blue pill thing about, you know, women are pure and she'll love you for who you are and she'll always be there for you when you need her and you can show weakness around her and she wants you to be vulnerable and this kind of thing. If all of those guys suddenly started believing, you know, what Andrew Tate says, which is, let's just say, let's condense that to like the red pill stuff, would that cause a major change in society? I'm not sure. I don't really think so, because I don't think those guys are getting any girls anyway. If anything, you could say that it might cause them to drop out of society, because they'd be like, well, why the fuck should I go get this job? Why the fuck should I finish school? Why should I do all this? Because I'm just doing it for girls anyway. And if these girls aren't going to be loyal, or they're only going to be conditionally loyal, then what's the point? Like, I was lied to, so why should I keep trying? I can definitely relate. I'm not saying that's the correct way to be. I understand where guys like that are coming from, because I went through that too. Because I had my own red pill awakening at one point, and I was like, oh, this is terrible. How depressing. So I'll tell that story really quick, because that's, I think, kind of interesting. So basically what happened was did I tell this recently? I feel like I told this recently. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, came back to America from living in Germany with my German ex-girlfriend. I did tell this recently. Anyway, long story short, I met a girl who I really liked, and we went on a couple dates, and I was like, oh my God, this is going to be my next girlfriend. Like, I don't know if it's the one, but she was like just the right age. She was super hot. She knew my family already. So she was already like, we kind of had that comfort grandfathered into our interaction, even though we had just met. And like, we went on a couple dates and we hit it off pretty well. We're having a good time. And then I got this text message from her where she's like, hey, listen, like, I don't want to see you anymore. You said some stuff on our last date that like really crossed the line, and never talk to me again. Something like that. By the way, funny story about what I actually said, because I don't think I told this last time. So this girl, we're on our, I think, third date, and we're just like lying in bed talking. And she goes, how tall are you? And I said, I'm 6'1". She's like, really? You're only 6'1"? And I go, yeah. And she's like, that's so weird. I usually date guys who are like 6'5", 6'6". But she's like, but that's okay. It doesn't bother me. Like, I like you. You're cute, whatever. I was like, oh, okay. Now, I'm not the type of guy, I'm not insecure about my height. Like, I'm 6'1". I'm decently tall. I'm above 6 feet. So I've literally never been insecure about my height. Would I like to be taller? Of course. But it doesn't keep me up at night at all. But it seemed to me like she was trying to throw me off my game, because I know girls know that guys are insecure about their height. So I was like, what is this bitch trying to fuck with me or something? Like, let me turn it around on you for a second. So I asked her, I was like, how much do you weigh? And she goes, oh, I weigh like 101 pounds. 'Cause she was skinny. Or I think it was like 104, whatever. She was like 5'3" and rail thin. So she's like, I weigh 103 pounds. And I was like, really? 103? She's like, yeah, why? And I was like, well, I only date, what did I say? I was like, well, I usually date girls who are under 100 pounds. She's like, really? I was like, yeah, but it's okay. Don't worry about it. Like, I still like you. You're cool. It doesn't matter. She's like, oh. So I guess she didn't understand that was a joke. Because, like, who would even say something like that? I guess she actually thought that because she said that she only dated guys who were like 6'5" and 6'6", that it would be plausible that there's a guy out there who doesn't date girls over 100 pounds, that she thought I was telling the truth. And it turns out that this girl had an eating disorder and was anorexic or bulimic or something like that. And that turned out to be what I said that crossed the line, is that like I only date girls under a certain weight, and she thought I was being serious. I don't know, who knows. Whatever. But anyway, once that happened, once I got that text, I was like, because I texted her back right away. I was like, no, please give me another chance. Like, I'll fix it. Let me make it up to you. Didn't work, unfortunately. So I Googled afterwards. I was like, oh, maybe it was just a shit test. Maybe she was just trying to see like if I really liked her and I would bitch out if she did something like that, which I did, to be fair. So I Googled how to pass a shit test. I found the Reddit forum for the red pill. And I was like, ooh, what's this? What is the red pill? What is all that stuff about? And started going down the wormhole, started reading the sidebar, started reading everything by Rollo Tomasi and The Rational Male and Illimitable Men and like all those bloggers. And I was so depressed for months after that. literally what I would do in my spare time is I would read those blogs. I think I read all of their blogs all the way through. And I was like, damn, shit's looking pretty grim for men. Because essentially what I took from that was a girl will never really like you the way that you like her. Like the way that you, like, number one, a girl will never really like you the way that you like her. And number two, as a man, you cannot depend on anybody. Like you can't depend on other guys. You can't depend on your wife. The only person you can really depend on is your mom to love you unconditionally, right? And like I'm thinking to myself, well, my mom's kind of fucking crazy. So like, no offense, mom, you're great. And I know I can depend on my mom. Like if I needed anything, she would 100% like do anything that it took to show up there and like help me with what I needed. So shout out to my mom for being a good mom. But she's still a little crazy, and like, do I really need to pull that trigger to get the help? I don't know. Anyway, just a hypothetical situation. So yeah, once I figured out the red pill stuff, that shit took me out of the game for like 2 years. And I was like, because I never, anytime, here would be my thought process would be, what is this? Can you really be an alpha male under 6 feet? That's funny. I don't think Rolo's a scam. I don't think, so here's the thing with like Rolo Tomasi and all those guys. These guys are not like out at the club on Friday night, like crushing it and getting a bunch of girls. But like practically the stuff they say is on point. Like the stuff that they say is legit, like intelligent, researched. And if you are able to integrate it into your life in a way that doesn't make you bitter or only makes you bitter temporarily, and then you're able to get over it and actually use that information to improve your relationships with women, I think that's good. I don't know if he's a scam. I wouldn't say he's a scam, but I'd be interested to hear why you think he's a scam. So yeah, that shit took me out of the game for like 2 years. I was like, because my thought process, I was thinking to myself, here's what I would go through. I'd be like, wow, she's so cute. I should talk to her. No, but if I do, and like, even if it goes well, like, you know, she's a whore and she'll just cheat on me. Like these are the thoughts that I was thinking. And very unhealthy, right? Very unhealthy. Like I'm not, okay, let's just say theoretically that that's even true. It's super unhealthy to think that way. When I think about all the opportunities that I missed during those 2 years of being like red pilled in relationships, it's a huge shame, because I definitely had some opportunities and I literally just threw them away because of some shit, some like fantasy situations in my head that never even happened. And I could have started, I'm not saying I need to like get in a relationship with these girls, but I could have started something with some of them. I could have made some good memories with some of them. I could have had some experiences that I was happy that I had, instead of just deciding, you know, without really putting any thought into it, that it wasn't worth it, that the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. And I'm not saying that like you should go for every girl, because what if you miss out? Sometimes the juice isn't worth the squeeze. But I have a rule for that now, actually. So like as a man, you know, this was more the case when I was younger, but definitely if I go through periods where I haven't, you know, let's say I haven't gotten laid in a while, and like I'm craving the, it's not even really that like I want the sex. It's not that I want the like good feeling of like penis and vagina. It's that I want the ego boost of knowing that a girl liked me enough to let me have sex with her. That's really what it is. And like, I know it's not just me also, by the way. So like guys out there, you know, we're on the same page. And girls, maybe you think that's crazy, but like this is what guys think. Like it's not so much that like we really want to have sex with you. That's part of it for sure. But a lot of it is like, if she lets me have sex with her, then you know, all the kids that teased me in high school were wrong, or like then that one girl that rejected me made a bad choice. This is like, and this is not something that I think what people would consciously admit. However, unless they're on a podcast and need something to talk about for 2 hours, I personally don't care to admit it. I try to be as self-aware as possible in that area, at least. So anyway, when I go through periods where I'm, let's say, like haven't gotten laid in a while, or like I'm just lonely, or I experience like some sort of rejection, like an especially painful rejection from a girl, like maybe we're dating for going a couple dates and like she says she doesn't want to talk to me. Occasionally, what I will do, I don't do this anymore, but what I would do until not too recently was lower my standards. And guys, like, you know how it is, like you're swiping on Tinder or you're out there in the world and there's some girl who like is giving you a good reaction and you're like, God, you know what? I kind of want to get laid. Like, let's push this ball forward a little bit. So what I would do is I would ask her on a date and I would go through the whole process for the ultimate goal of being able to sleep with her that night. Now, what I noticed is that if I did this, sometimes it would work. Sometimes I would be in a situation where like I go out with this girl and it's a clear mismatch. Like no offense to any of the girls who I've been out who are unattractive, let's just say. But like, I'm tall, I'm good looking, I'm in good shape. Like, I don't need to go out with some girl who's like 50 pounds overweight. No disrespect. But like, I should hold myself to a higher standard. I'm intelligent. I've like charming. Like, I have fun things to talk about. I'm great on dates. Like, girls always have fun with me when they go out with me. For me to go out with a girl who's not attractive to me is a waste of my time. It's just not worth my time. You know what I mean? However, sometimes I would go out with these girls who were what I consider to be low quality. And even if I would sleep with them, I would feel like shit afterwards. I would hate myself. I'd be like, okay, yeah, like technically I just had sex and I technically like got that notch on the bedpost and I felt, you know, I scored a point. Why do I feel like shit? What is it? And what I realized, the new rule that I have, as of, I don't know, the last time I made a mistake with this was about 2 months ago. And then, because you know how it is when you enact a new rule, it's like, okay, I'm going to do this from now on. And then you eventually relapse, whatever. So my new rule is that I don't go out with a girl unless I could see myself sitting across from her on a date for, let's say, 3 hours and not be embarrassed that we are seen together. Right. And this might sound harsh, but like, you know, we're men, we're visual creatures. We're interested in how the girl looks. Like that's 80% of it. That's not all of it. Like, I still like girls who are nice. Like, even if she looks amazing, if she's not nice, my boner just like goes down immediately. It's hard for me to be attracted to people who aren't nice. I don't know. So yeah. So ever since I started like enacting that new rule, things are much better. Maybe I don't, you know, it's not that I go on fewer dates. It's just that they're usually with higher quality girls. And not only are they with higher quality girls, but I'm happier to be there. Like I'm happy that I'm out there with a girl who's cute. I'm not embarrassed like to be seen, like, and no, like who even cares, right? Nobody even cares. I'm sure they're not like, oh my God, look at that guy. Did you see the girl he's with? What the hell's going on? Nobody cares. Literally nobody cares. But I know that if I do all that just to get laid, like, what a waste of time. Seriously. Like, I could be doing anything. Yeah. Whoa. Let's see here. Let's look at the chat. Bra, look up John Anthony Crush Their Life. Dude, what's John Anthony's problem, dude? John Anthony needs to chill. Why is he such a hater? Like, well, I'll look him up because somebody else told me, let's see. I agree with John Anthony on everything, but he's right on the red pill ideology. Red pill, black pill, both just stupid. Hookups are not really fun. No intimacy. Did John Anthony still operate exclusively in poor non-white countries? I like chicks to dominate me and throw money at me when they're finished. Yeah, that'd be dope. I'd be down for that. Where are you finding these girls? And where can I meet them? So like, I don't understand this whole thing about John Anthony. It's like, okay, so what, he debunked like Rollo Tomasi? At the end of the day, bro, the stuff that these guys write is true. It's evolutionary psychology. Women are going to be attracted to the most dominant man around at the time. That's what these guys wrote. That's true. Does that mean, like, how can you, I don't know how you can like debunk that. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Somebody else told me that he debunked Todd V. And like, you guys, I don't know. You might not see the value in it that I saw, but his course, The System, wow, just like amazing. Not all of it. I'm not saying every single video is like the most amazing video ever, but what I like is that he just lays out like a clear process for how the conversation is supposed to go. Specifically, because what I noticed myself is that I get into these conversations. He calls them the 30-second or 30-minute conversation to nowhere, which is just like you're talking about these like fun, light topics, but there's no indication that like you're interested in seeing her on a romantic basis, where like you don't suggest anything like, let's go on a date, you want to get a drink sometime, which is a very direct way of doing it. Like you should, there's ways to broach that topic that are a little bit more like a soft close, so to speak, as opposed to just like, oh yeah, like we're talking about this fun thing. Oh, by the way, can I get your number? It's like, what? And if she really likes you, you know, maybe that'll work. One of the things that I think is a good way to do it is, I don't know, I guess I would call it like the hypothetical date, right? And this actually reminds me a lot of a test close in sales. So what's a test close in sales is basically like, let's say the customer has an objection, or even if they don't have an objection, where let's say you're in a situation where you're talking, let's say you're talking to a customer and you want to see if they're ready to be closed, or if you're ready to start closing, if you're ready to start the closing process. What you would say is you would just like do a hypothetical question. So like, if this were true and this were true, would you be interested in moving forward? And if they say yes, then you can start closing them. If they say, well, basically if they say anything other than yes, then you have more work to do. And it's not a good idea to start closing them, because if you try to close them and they say no, it's much harder to like turn that into a yes than it is to close them when they haven't said no. So like, think about it like you need to clear all of the rocks out of the way before the plane takes off. You can't like try to make the plane take off. Oh, and there's all these rocks there, so you slow down and move the rocks out of the way. It's just much better if you do it the other way. So when it comes to like, let's say you're talking to a girl and you want to close her, let's say on the number, you would say, what's a good one? Basically is something like, well, what I like to do first is I like to see if she's single, because not that like, I mean, ethically, I guess it's wrong to pursue a girl that has a boyfriend, because even if it goes well, like let's say she's got a boyfriend and you could tell it's on and you start to pursue her, even if it goes well, like you're going to start that relationship on the basis of her cheating on her boyfriend, which is not, or like, let's say she breaks up with him the night before you go out, like you broke them up. I don't know. It's just kind of like, it gives you an icky feeling. So I like to find out if she's single. There's a couple ways to do that. One question I like to ask is, how many boyfriends do you have? Right? This is from back in the day when I used to sell hair straighteners. We would say like, instead of saying, do you have a boyfriend? We would say as a joke, how many boyfriends do you have? And it's also a good way to kind of loosen them up. And you learn over time that based on their answer, you learn what their relationship status is. For example, if a girl says one, then you know obviously she has a boyfriend and it's like serious, and you can, probably not a good idea to continue pursuing. But if she's like, oh, I don't have any boyfriends, she sounds kind of sad about it, then that's usually a good sign, right? That's usually a sign that like she might be interested and, you know, she wants male attention. The best answer is if she makes a joke. She's like, I have 10 boyfriends. And then you can kind of play with that because that's a little flirtatious. So once you find out if she has a boyfriend, what you would do for the hypothetical question would be something like, okay, so I have a question for you. Let's say that there was a guy and, or not just guy, let's say there was this like cute guy or like this handsome man, however you want to kind of describe yourself. Let's say there was this like handsome man and he wanted to buy you a drink and you thought he was cute and like you guys had a good conversation. Would you be open to something like that? And then you see what she says. And it's just like, yeah, of course I would. Great. Let me get your number. Boom. Easy. Because that way, like, you kind of set up, you let her know, I guess, in advance why you're asking for her number. Which doesn't sound like it would be something that's not obvious, but when you're like in the moment and you're talking to a cute girl, it's not easy to think about all the shit that you need to think about. This is why, in my opinion, scripted game was so popular for so long, because you don't need to read the situation at all. All you need to do is just remember what to say next. And if you build like a good enough routine, then you can just turn your brain off and just execute the routine. Like, and that's very similar to how it was when I was selling hair straighteners. It's like I didn't, when I got to the end of it, I didn't have to think at all about what I was doing. I was just like, I literally knew what to say at every single point, and whatever they said, I knew that I had certain options of what to say, and I would just automatically pick whatever the best option was. Now, granted, like, selling a hair straightener is not that complex, so it's not like I had hundreds of answers to choose from, but the point is that it allowed me to shut my brain off and to use my mental energy for things like reading body language, or like looking out of the corner of my eye to see if there was another customer looking, or like looking out of the corner of my other eye to see if one of my coworkers like needed help with something, or if I shouldn't say the price too loud because they're at a different point in the demo and I shouldn't say that because they haven't said the price yet. Anyway, it's complicated. Hashtag it's complicated. Okay, let's see. Just hypnotize them with NLP and use the meta model. Use this, bro. If you need me to shine a light up at the sky, and I'll be there. Never fails. Interesting. Tony Hagen, let's go, Joe. Just tell them you got mad bags of Coke and rack up lines of Feta for them. You know, that would probably work. That would actually probably work. Who was I talking to the other day? And he was basically like, bro, if you want to get girls, just start selling Coke. And I was like, well, I mean, it doesn't sound like a bad idea, but there's this whole problem of like going to jail. So I'm too old for that shit. I can't start selling Coke. I just can't do it. Oh, man. What did you say? What was somebody said here? If you need a light, what was it? Todd V is terrible. Todd V's not terrible, bro. Why do you think Todd V is terrible? I'm curious. And while you type out your reply, I'm going to tell you why Todd V is the shit. Todd V is really good because he explains what you need to do, the bare minimum of what you need to do at every single point in the interaction. And like, if you can't think about it logically, if for some reason you just don't have the references for like how that conversation is supposed to go, dude, it's gold. It's like actual gold. It's like when I was learning how to sell, I had no idea how to sell. I was a terrible salesman when I first started. I was shy. I was nervous. Like, I forgot what I was supposed to say. And I had no idea how to get the customer to want to buy whatever it was that I was selling. Eventually, as my career progressed, I realized that it's really just about finding the easy people and trying to squeeze them for as much money as you can. But in the beginning, I was like, oh my God, I got to say this, I got to say that. And if they have this objection, like, you get just caught up in the weeds so much. And actually, that's one of the things that I think also applies to dating as well, is that it's not that you want to try and turn around these bad conversations that you have. It's not like once you build these skills, you'll be able to get any girl you want, because there's a lot of parallels to sales. So it's like, once you learn how to sell, you're not going to be able to sell to everybody. You're still going to have the same, ratio as a beginner salesperson or intermediate salesperson who's going out, knocking doors, making phone calls, even calling leads, unless they're really warm, but that's a different story. But the point is that, like, once you, what was I saying? Anyway, once you get the skills, you realize that it's all about just getting the easy people and squeezing them and learning how to upsell to them. But let's see. Yeah. I don't know. I think, I don't know. I think about selling like a sales training program every once in a while. And I think I might do that. Like I have this, I'm working with he's one of these coaches who helps you put together a high ticket coaching program. So initially when I signed up with him, what I wanted him to help me put together was a high ticket coaching program on how to start an education business in the beauty industry. So essentially I would be selling a coaching program to people who are interested in starting an education business slash coaching program in the beauty industry. Because at the time I was like working in the beauty industry, I was pretty heavily involved, and I was like, well, I keep coming back to this. I might as well pick something in this industry. However, now what's the problem with that is that like, I don't particularly like, I like some things about working in beauty. I like that there's a bunch of girls everywhere all the time. But other than that, and I mean, talking about hair is pretty fun because it's like a light, fun topic and just people are in a good mood. But other than that, like, I don't particularly want to be in the beauty industry. It just doesn't really, it's just not my jam. So I'm thinking that maybe I will change the program because we haven't like hit the point of no return yet where, you know, where it's like, oh, we already built out all this stuff for the, for the funnel. Like we already made it. Like, sorry, there's no going back. We're still in kind of the preliminary phases where you just, I don't know, you got to fill all these spreadsheets out and shit. So I was thinking, I was like, well, shit, what should I do? Like initially I was thinking fitness. Like I created this like wireframe of like, okay, it'll have these sections in it, one section on nutrition, one section on exercise, one section on supplements. It was really easy. It just like flew out of my fingertips. And I mean, why not? Because like, I mean, the main problem is that I realized like a week ago that all of these deals that I've been closing aren't going to be built till next year. So that kind of sucks, which means I'm not going to get paid on them till like April or May even. So it's like, all right, when we stop building in November, what am I going to do from November to March? I'm probably going to have to go back to doing shows, which I'm not crazy about, but it is what it is. So then I was thinking, I was like, fuck, okay, I got to get this coaching thing going. I got to like, in the next 6 months, like I got to have like a constant flow of new people coming in that I'm coaching. Because I can't be in situations like this anymore. I'm too old for this shit, dude. I'm too old. I'm too smart. I got too much going for me that like I'm allowing myself to be in situations where I'm waiting fucking 6 months to get a paycheck. Like this is ridiculous. Anyway, got off topic. All right, let's go back to politics. Here we go. We started talking about Andrew Tate and that shit just got like way too crazy. All right, let's take a look. What do we got? I got to see like what I can actually talk about here on this heavily moderated social media network. Let's see. All right. Do you think so? Actually, you know what? Didn't I hear that already after Biden? What was it? Like he already walked back his statements about like people being what was it, like MAGA Americans being a threat to democracy. Let me just look this up really quick because I remember seeing that. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah. Dark Brandon already walked his comments back. So let's just take a look here. What the hell's wrong with my internet, bro? I got fiber. That's it, huh? Well, I thought it was a bigger thread. Anyway, I'm not surprised. Like, I honestly, I don't know what's going on in the world anymore. It's like the people who are in charge of the United States, they have no idea what they're doing. Like, literally no idea what they're doing. I mean, you say whatever you want about Obama, but like at least during the Obama years, as far as I recall, to be fair, I wasn't in the United States for most of it, but as far as I recall, like there wasn't any like really bad shit happening. Even when Trump was president, like shit was pretty chill, except for the media crying and everybody crying because they hated Trump. But I'm pretty sure Trump's going to run in 2024. I wouldn't be surprised. All of RSD are scamolas. It's bad NLP. Like I posted another video. You don't need these game people. It's usually cringe. Just learn the meta model and Robert Dilts. So back in the day, I used to read a bunch of NLP. I know the meta model where it's like you essentially just ask questions to get more specific answers. People hate me so much when I do that. Like they get so irritated with me where they'll say like, oh, this is terrible. And I'll say, what specifically is terrible? Oh, this, I got into a car accident. Okay, what specifically was bad about the car accident? Oh, well, this and this happened. They're just so pissed. But Dilts is the shit, man. I was going to respond to your comment the other day about like sleight of mouth. I should probably read that again. But I'd be interested to hear why you think the meta model in NLP is such a cheat code. Because in my experience, it really just pisses people off that you're asking them to clarify what they're saying. In fact, the meta model is one of the reasons why in my videos, I try to speak so clearly, because I know that if I use the meta model and I try to speak as clearly as possible, then there won't really be as much confusion from people who are watching, and I won't need to explain myself multiple times. But that's not, like if you use the Milton model, well, I'm really dating myself here. If you use the Milton model instead, that seems like those messages are absorbed or at least received a lot more, like, let's see here. People are a lot more pissed off with you when you do that, in my experience. Yeah, the Milton model's dope. I used to, back in the day when I first discovered NLP, I was like, oh my God, I'm a genius. I actually wrote out all of so like, I forget what they're called, but all of the principles in the meta model, like, so, okay, in the meta model, there's like one principle and then there's the opposite version of it in the Milton model. So I wrote them all out on like 8x11 pieces of paper and taped them to my wall, and people would come over and be like, what the hell is this, dude? Like, what's wrong with you? Why would you tape this random shit to your wall? Like, what even is this? But yeah, I was a nerd back then in the day. Oh, man. Yeah. Let's see here. Home. I don't know, man. I'm kind of wondering, like, is it worth it to start buying guns and like stacking food? I remember when I was really scared, I think I might have like 100 cans of tuna in my closet. It's possible I have 100 cans of tuna. I should probably eat that tuna because I'm only going to be here for another 2 months, hopefully. Oh God, I really don't want to stay in Minneapolis in the wintertime. Oh God, it's not going to be fun. Whatever. All right. So the plan now, I know I said I was going to talk about politics, but like, I don't know. They're so retarded, dude. Like, what could I even say? What can I even say about what's going on? Like, people are just dumb. Let me see if I can just drop some red pills about like nutrition and stuff. You know what sucks is when I hear that people are vegan, right? Like, why do I recommend that? What is it? Let me get a sip of water. Like, why do I recommend not going vegan? Well, first of all, when I started doing YouTube, I was watching all of these. Somehow people started recommending that I watch videos on eating disorders, and they wanted me to review all of these videos, all these what I eat in a day videos from people, from these like internet celebrities. And I was like, okay, fine. And I noticed that all of the ones that were like extremely sick and looking very ill all the time, they were all vegan. And the ones that looked healthy and fit and looked like at least reasonable, they all ate meat. So at that time I was like, maybe there's something to this. And then I kind of just applied that logic to other moments when I would see somebody who's vegan or vegetarian. And I have some friends who are vegan, and it's like, you don't want to, it's hard to get people to see things your way when you criticize them for something that they're doing, which is our natural like knee-jerk response anyway. It's like you see somebody doing something wrong, and you like the urge to correct is addictive, they say. But that doesn't usually work. So like I have one friend in particular, she's vegan. She's still a personal trainer and a yoga teacher, super skinny. And I just feel so bad that she's vegan. And I want to say, like, please stop being vegan. Like, let me give you some meat. Like, just eat fish, something. It's just, I don't know, doesn't look the same. It's kind of sad. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. As much shit as Andrew Tate gets, you got to admit the dude he's onto something. Like, he is a good marketer. He knows how to sell shit. And I'm not talking about on like a one-on-one. Like, he knows how to market his courses. He's got a brand. Like, you know what you're getting when you talk about Andrew Tate or when you watch one of his products. Like, you know it's going to be the same shit. Maybe I should get some of his courses. I think I can get his courses somewhere. Let me look really quick. Yeah, I have this one website where I can get all these like pirated courses for like $5 each. I probably shouldn't say that. I mean, well, who cares? I don't give a shit. Let's see here. Does Andrew Tate have shit here? Yep. Hustlers University by Andrew Tate. I got to get in on that shit. All right. I might buy all his courses right now. Oh, Andrew Tate bundle, 150. Let's see. How much is that? So I can get all of Andrew Tate's courses for $33 on this one website. I might buy that. I'm going to buy that shit. I'm going to buy all of Andrew Tate's courses and watch them. I've already watched the one about on OnlyFans business. That was pretty good. But, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the pace and tonology and matching the flow and speed and then switching from leading to following. What are you going to do with a gun against a government tank? I mean, the government's not sending tanks to rural neighborhoods. You know, they're going to send the goon squad. It's not that like hooked on the fake gurus. Like, if you think about it, so I don't buy the whole like fake guru thing. I think these people, they've learned something, and just because the necessary steps that you have to take in order to market something involve, let's say, less than 100% honest behavior, that doesn't mean that the knowledge that they have and the experiences that they have are somehow discredited. And at the end of the day, Andrew Tate has a lot of money, and he made that money through selling his shit. And if nothing else, I think it's worth it to see what he did, you know, especially because like he inherited his money. Did he really? I didn't know that. I mean, wasn't his dad in the CIA or something? I feel like his dad was in the CIA. I feel like I've read that before. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure he made money also. Like, he's not just like a rich guy, or is he? Let me see this. I should probably look that up. Did Andrew Tate inherit his money? Let's see here. Multiple income streams. Tate has had various income streams. It's a shit article. I was broke for a long time. Let's see. Oh, damn. What? A trillionaire? What? Oh, God. maybe I shouldn't buy his courses. I mean, it's only $33. I might as well buy them. Like, who cares? You know, I might learn something. If I feel like when you watch a course, as long as you learn one thing, then it's worth it. I feel like a lot of times when you're into self-improvement for a certain amount of time, you start to think that you know it all. And you're like, well, I don't want to learn that because like I already basically know everything about it. But in reality, I think if you consume more and more self-improvement content, even if you only learn one little tiny piece of information from a 1-hour video or even from like a 5-hour course, I think that in and of itself is useful. And I think you should be very careful to, and this is something I do all the time where I'm like, you know, like I said, I just feel like I know everything. But you always got to keep learning. Always got to keep learning. You always got to keep learning. And you always got to keep trying new things, which is how I started doing the cold pool. Where I was like, oh, that cold pool. I feel like I should go back there today and do the cold pool again. That shit is legit. I need to have, let's see here. Oh, it was a chess player. Oh, you know what? That's right. Like, he has a course on chess also. And I was like, is this like some metaphor for chess or something? Is this like some metaphor for life? But it's not. It's actual chess. So, but yeah, I definitely need to get that coaching program going. Like, God, do you know how nice it would be? Oh my God. Like if I had, because coaching is such easy money. I mean, you still need to get a result and you still need to create a good product and build a community. And like, I'm not saying you can get away with making the money without doing a good job, which I guess is true. But compared to like knocking on doors and like all the shit I got to do for building roofs, like just give me the coaching clients. You know what I mean? Just like I'll make the program. Like I'll make the lead magnet. I'll buy the ads. Like I'll do whatever. Like I'll get that shit going. All right. Anyway, let's see. It's so many other things I wanted to talk about. Do you even ice your balls, bro? So I don't do the ball icing, although I know that's like a thing powerlifters do, is they ice their balls, but I have not experienced that. I do the cold pool every day for like at least 5 minutes, and that's definitely like icing my balls. My balls are definitely in the cold pool when I'm doing it. I also pin 175 milligrams of test every week, so like my test is already probably pretty high. Here's one thing that I recommend people to do if they're on TRT. You have all of these testosterone boosters, all of these like herbal things that have quote unquote been shown to boost testosterone, but they've been shown to boost testosterone in men who are hypogonadal, meaning their testes are not producing the correct amount of testosterone. They're underproducing or they're not producing at all. So when you inject testosterone, what are you doing? You're putting testosterone in your body and you're telling your testes to not produce any testosterone. So you are in effect making yourself hypogonadal. So if you inject testosterone, you're making yourself hypogonadal. That means that all of a sudden, all of these herbal supplements that are sold that have been shown to boost testosterone, but only in hypogonadal men, will suddenly be very useful for you. And in fact, one of the things that I've been doing, one of the supplements that I didn't get around to talking about yesterday is Tribulus that I take. And Tribulus is one of those supplements. And not only that, like it's great for aggression and strength and energy. In fact, I might increase my dose of Tribulus now that I think about it. But it does make me a little on edge sometimes. So I don't know. We'll see. I might, well, fuck it. I'll try it for a day. We'll see how it goes. Let's see here. What else should I buy? I really need to like, let's see. I don't know. All right. I am, what does that say? Eat Sistanch and ice your balls. Asian population jumped out his wang. He was the last real alpha. Todd V would be weaving baskets. That's pretty funny, bro. I mean, Genghis Khan, like, how can you compare to Genghis Khan? We should all strive to be a little bit more like Genghis Khan. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an hour. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to try and edit some shit into Reels. Thank you for coming by on the podcast. Hopefully next time I will have a guest. I will try to line one up for tomorrow. I will also try to do these every single day and probably plan ahead of time, like what I'm going to talk about. So I'm not just like randomly clicking on shit. Anyway, thanks for coming by. Peace.